So today we're going to go over some tips to get more power on your ground strokes. These tips, they work for the forehand and backhand. I'm going to demonstrate all tips with the forehand. So let's get started. So I have the camera pointed sideways, right, to the baseline, not from the behind the court. And the reason why is because we're going to first start out with your hips, all right? I like to tell all my students, right, Shakira, hips don't lie. If you can get into your hips while you're hitting your ground strokes, you guys will be able to get more power on your ball. And let me explain. So when I turn for the ball, right, so I'm in ready position, I turn for the ball. I want you guys to pause the video and tell me, where are my hips facing right now? My hips are facing where? My hips are facing the camera. Now I'm going to swing my ground stroke, right? I'm going to swing and finish. Now pause the video again and tell me, where are my hips facing? They're facing forward. So if you guys can think, and I use this with all my students, right? If you guys can think that when I turn for the ball, my hips are sideways, and when I finish, my hips are forward. It's going to allow your body to rotate more, and you're going to get more power. More rotation equals more power on your ground stroke. So again, my hips are going to be sideways. I'm going to think about my hips, and then when I finish, my hips are facing forward. Once again, I'm going to turn, my hips are sideways, and then when I finish, my hips are forward. Same thing for the backhand, right? So I'm going to turn, hips are sideways. When I finish, hips are forward. Again, I'm going to turn sideways, finish forward, okay? You guys probably already do this while you guys are hitting your ground strokes, but if you can think about it, you're going to do it more, and in return, you'll get more power. The next thing, from the side view, watch what I do when I hit, all right? I want you guys to notice one thing that I'm doing with my back foot. So I'm going to hit. Here we are, let's do two more. So I'm going to turn, hit, and one more. So what am I doing with my back foot? I am pivoting my back foot. I like to tell all my students, squash the bug, right? This tip will, again, rotate your body the proper way. And again, rotation equals power. So when you hit, I want you to think that you're pivoting your back foot. This tip works for the closed stance or semi-open stance. This does not work for the open stance forehand. So if you're stepping into the ball, right, I want you to think that you're pivoting your back foot. By me pivoting my back foot, it's going to allow my hips to really rotate forward and to the court. So use the pivot, use your hips. You guys will be able to get more power on your ground strokes. The next thing, all right, I need you guys to get more into your legs, all right? Everyone thinks they want to hit a ball harder. What do? They tighten up, right? So much to try to hit the living daylights out of a ball, squeezing the racket super tight. You're going to hurt your arm, and your ball's not going to go in. It's probably going to go long or in the net. You have to let the racket work for you. Don't work for the racket. You have to hold this racket super loose. So if I'm holding the racket super loose, where is my power coming from? My power is coming from your legs. You guys have to get more into your legs. A little bit goes a long way, right? So I want you to think that you're really getting into your legs while hitting. A little hack to make sure that you always get into your legs. Drop your center of gravity. If I'm 6 foot tall, I'm going to be 5 foot now while I'm hitting on court, right? I'm getting lower, dropping my center of gravity, allowing myself to get into my legs more while I hit. Because again, if you guys want to hit more power on your ground strokes, the number one source is legs, right? Legs and rotation. All right, if your legs aren't sore, you need to be doing it more, right? We need more legs. Your legs should be sore while you're playing tennis. No player is standing straight up. Their legs aren't extended. They're always down while they're hitting, really getting low center of gravity, okay? So really get into the legs, right? So we're going to talk about how to use our legs for power, right? So there's two ways. Number one, you can step into the ball so you can get low. You can step forward and then hit. Once again, I'm going to get low, I'm stepping forward, then I'm hitting closed stance or semi-open. Also, if I'm in open stance forehand, I'm going to load on my outside foot, then explode off my outside foot and hit. Once again, I'm going to load on my outside foot, explode off my outside foot. So for an open stance forehand, a great way to get power, I like to tell all my students this, right? When I turn, I'm pushing all my weight on my outside foot, right? The same foot as my hitting arm. So I'm a right-handed player, my right foot, my right leg, right? I'm pushing into the ground with my right leg, and then I'm going to push off the ground with my right leg. Once again, I'm putting all my weight in the ground on my right leg, then pushing off the ground in my right leg. So if you guys can get more power by using your legs, by using the proper footwork, by stepping either into the ball or getting into your hitting side leg, you guys will be able to get more power on your ground strokes, all right? Another way that you can get more power, right? So many players, they sacrifice all their power on their shot, right? Because what? Rotation equals power. They don't follow through. If you guys want to have more power, you guys have to follow through every single time. I have a lot of players, when they hit, they swing and they stop their racket, right? You guys need to make sure that you're swinging all the way through. You need your racket to rotate. Once again, rotation equals power. So when I turn, I hit, I don't want to just stop here or stop here. I want to make sure every single time I'm fully following through. Same thing for my backhand, full follow through, or one-handed backhand as well, right? You don't want to stop your momentum. Let your momentum go all the way, okay? You guys will be able to get more control and more power by just letting the racket do the work, okay? Another thing with that, right, with our swing path, right, is our contact point. Too many players, what they do is that they get the ball too close inside to your body. When you make contact with this ball, you want to make sure that you're out and in front and away from your body. Same thing for the one-handed, out in front, away from the body, or the two-handed, out in front and away from the body. You do not want to get the ball close to you, right? So try to hit the ball earlier. A great way to try to get power, do this when you're rallying or your coach is feeding you, just try to take the ball earlier, right? Instead of letting that ball come close to me, I'm going to take it earlier and hit it out in front. Take it earlier and hit it out in front every single time, okay? So now what we're going to do, we're going to position the camera back behind the baseline, and you guys are going to watch me do the tips, all right? So let's see if I can remember these. So number one, what did we say? Our hips. Hips don't lie. Shakira, Shakira, right? So we are going to work on our hips. So again, this is for closed stance or semi-open. I'm going to turn my body, right? So I'm turning my body, and then when I hit, I'm rotating my hips forward. So again, my hips are to the side. Then when I rotate, my hips are forward. One more. My hips are to the side. Then when I rotate, hips are forward, okay? Also, what are we doing, okay? We're pivoting the back foot. So right now, I'm going to hit 3 more balls, and I'm going to really exaggerate the pivot of my back foot. And when I have my students do this tip, I like them to pause and really check their back foot before they go back. Really get that feeling, that muscle memory down. So let's try it, right? So I'm going to turn, I'm going to hit, pivot. 2 more, I'm going to turn, I'm going to hit, pivot. 1 more, I'm going to turn, hit, pivot, and pause and check my back foot, right? So I'm squashing the bug, spinning my toe, okay? Now, let's get into what's next. So we did that. Now let's get into the legs, right? So there's 2 ways that you can do it. Open stance, or again, closed or semi-open, right? We're going to start with the closed. So what I like to do to learn the step with the closed stance, I like to let the ball bounce twice, then step and hit. By allowing the ball to bounce twice, it's going to allow me to time my step better. I would highly recommend doing that if you're self-feeding to yourself, wanting to learn the step. So again, I'm going to let the ball bounce twice. 1, 2, step and hit. Let's do 2 more. Here we are. Let's go. So I'm going to let the ball bounce twice. 1, 2, step forward and hit. Working on my momentum, my power, right? Getting more momentum, more weight into my shot. Bounce twice, step and hit. 1 more. I'm going to let the ball bounce twice, step and hit. All right, so we did closed stance, right? Let's do open stance now. So I'm going to, for the open stance, right? I'm going to turn. I'm going to push all my weight into my hitting leg, the leg that is on the side of my hitting arm. So for me, right-handers, right leg, left-handers, left leg. If you're doing the forehand, opposite for backhand. So for my backhand, I'd be getting into my left leg, but I'm gonna push in my right leg, push off my right leg. 2 more. Push in, push off. 1 more. Push in the leg, push off the leg. So I'm teaching myself how to really use my legs for power. Also, another thing that you can do, right? I'm going to just drop my center of gravity, get super low, get as low as I can, and just hit. Just do tons of drop feeds, super low, like that, all right? Get in the legs, make it a leg workout, okay? Now we're going to focus on hitting the ball out in front, taking it earlier, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to extend our non-hitting arm. And you're not going to drop it close to your body. You're going to fully extend the ball or your arm, right? And you're going to drop the ball there and then hit. That's going to help you and teach you how to get that ball out in front. As long as my non-hitting arm is, that's the exact proper contact point that I want to hit, right? So here we are. So I'm going to stick my arm straight out, drop the ball out in front, then hit. 2 more. Straight out in front. I'm going to drop the ball and hit. And 1 more. Straight out in front, drop the ball and hit. So guys, I hope these tips, I hope these drills, this is how you implement the tips by yourself, or you could have your coach do them for you. I hope this helps, all right? Once again, rotation equals power, all right? You have to get into your legs for power. You don't tense up in your arms, right? All the power comes from your legs and your body rotating. You're letting the racket work for you. You don't work for the racket. Guys, if this helps, let me know. If you guys have any questions or comments, let me know in the comments below. Have a good one, guys. I hope you guys get more power on your shots, and happy hitting.